maybe, maybe, maybe somebody can tell me, because I don't understand cold case justice. I really don't. And I'm beginning not to understand frigging law and justice at all. Or right and wrong in a way. Because, okay, I was reading something to friggin' talk about. Something new and interesting, not just reacting off other people's videos and stuff. And I don't know. I read this. Fugitive husband's death appears in court. Now, this lady is Mary Ann Rivera. And what she did was she's a nasty thing, too. Oh, you could just tell she's a nasty little bitter. She friggin', her husband made her mad, so she took a friggin' vat. A big vat of friggin' grease and dumped it on him. And her husband died 5 days later of liver damage caused by the burn. Oh, 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 that's just wrong. I mean, I got no sympathy for that right there. Fuck her, you know? She fled with her friggin' 4 kids and lived for 4 decades without a record, without anything. Friggin', so she fled to Georgia, but because they've taken all their cold cases and they put them in databases now and linked to databases, all these people are being found. Well, now my question is, sure, she's a wretched old thing, and some people would say, you know, she got the luxury of not facing justice. So, it makes me wonder, is being evading the law, or being a fugitive and living a life really an escape from justice, especially after 4 decades? Because you constantly have to look over your shoulder. You know, what kind of reward is that? You know, now she's this 73-year-old friggin' thing. They couldn't even fly her because she's on oxygen. And it's like, it's not so much sympathy, but it's about justice. I would be tempted to say time served, or just take her out in the friggin' street. Either way, you know. I mean, what's the point? The point is that justice and the laws that uphold it are based off crime and punishment. But punishment and our institutions that deal this punishment are corrupt in themselves. Corrupt in their lack of care, corrupt in their treatment of people, and as a greater society is corrupt in the treatment of the old or the sick, then where's the justice in the law? If there is no justice in the punishment, if there is only injustice in the punishment, yes. Frankly, she's just gonna get friggin' what a person who hasn't done a day in their life is gonna get, if not a little better. you get sick and you get old, and you don't have money. They take you from your hospital bed, stick you in a cab with about $1.50 or $2, and they take you friggin' 2 or 3 blocks around the corner, and the taxi driver pushes you out with your IV bag in your stand. Oh no, you don't get the stand. You get to hold it until you collapse in a friggin' alleyway, and then they scoop you up and friggin' ship you back to the morgue. And this one, driving her friggin' 500 miles away from Texas. But they gotta drive her back. They gotta have the friggin' thing. They know she was a fugitive. They know it's her. The woman hasn't done anything in 41 years. And yet you got all these other criminals active, current, running amok. I mean, what she did was horrible. But frankly, if you stuck her in an old folks' home, and if anybody's ever seen these old folks' homes, not the nice ones with the people who get money and have relatives who can friggin' afford to pay for them go. No, no. Those are retirement communities. Or convalescent care centers. Real pretty name on that, No, but I mean friggin' rest homes. Where you friggin' take a rest before you're being put in the grave. More like the friggin' wailing house. They should just call them wailing houses. Because I went there, and I've seen them. I've seen them. I'm not going to get into where, but I've seen family members being put in these things. I've heard stories of them. And all you see is miserable people sitting around in wheelchairs not being attended by minimum wage workers, friggin' goof around and ignore them like they're friggin' things, except for the friggin' liberal social worker comes in once a day to friggin' play patty cake with them in the main room, and then friggin' at night or other times they're friggin' tending the dying, because they got nothing to live for. The care's sloppy. The friggin' thing is nothing but a friggin' like dorm room or hospital room. I mean, it's just, waiting to die. And then then you hear the shrieks, and it just story after story. There's dancer thieves, and there's people who are crazy put in with people who friggin' can barely move. And it's like Lord of the Flies, geriatric style. And I mean not in a friggin' kind way, because sometimes younger people are put in who are going to die, but they've gone out of their friggin' heads. But they still got a little juice left. There's a lot of victimization going on there. So frankly, out on the corner, around from the hospital, or in a convalescent home that's more like a concentration camp, what the hell's the difference if she's in prison or not? And they're not going to execute a senior. So, what? What justice? What justice can there be from this? They might as well just friggin' put her in a home and forget it. And save the taxpayers and the rest of us a bunch of friggin' media hype headlines over something that's friggin' a systemic problem to everything in our society when it comes to friggin' people who aren't well-to-do, and they're going to end up in the same or worse conditions as this murderess. All because she probably got pissed off and threw some grease at a guy. I don't know. You tell me what's right and wrong when friggin' justice is broke. When punishment is unjust. And even an honest person will be victimized. What should we do to her to make justice pay? To make her pay for her crime?